Level 1. You're nothing yet. In the darkest corner of the neighborhood, half the streetlights are broken. Weeds push through the cracks in the sidewalk, and the headlights of cars passing at midnight hit you in the face. Your father's surgery bill is pinned to the refrigerator. You see it every morning at breakfast. Yellowed paper, red numbers. Your sibling has one pair of shoes with a hole in the sole. On rainy days, their socks get soaked, but they don't complain, because they've learned that complaining gets you nowhere. Those nights, you couldn't bring anything home. You didn't go back, because returning empty-handed felt heavier than the silent disappointment in your father's eyes. Someone smiled at you, a real smile. The kind that says you matter. Someone held something out to you, and in that moment you realized you had not a single reason to say no. Because to say no, you need something to lose. And you had nothing to lose. Your job is simple. Stand on the corner at 2 a.m. Memorize out-of-town license plates. Note cars that flash their lights 3 times. Run when the men you call bro shout. Ask no questions. You don't even have a name yet, they just call you little one. And the strange thing is, for the first time you feel like you belong somewhere. Level 2, homie. You survived one night, then a few nights. Then you survived one that wasn't easy to get through. That night never leaves your mind. Once you've seen certain things with your own eyes, the world never shrinks back to its old dimensions. When you woke up the next morning, there was an 18 tattoo on your left wrist, fresh, still slightly swollen, and when you touched it, you felt something. Not pain, but belonging. A blue bandana in your pocket. The street looks at you differently now. Same corners, same lights, but the looks have changed. Shop owners avert their eyes. Kids keep their distance. Old women watch you from windows, then pull the curtains shut. You look at the street differently too. You're no longer prey. You're a hunter, or that's how it feels. And sometimes the difference between the two is thinner than you'd think. Small jobs. Carry drug packets from one address to another. Count the money. Don't ask where it came from. Go in through the back door of a neighborhood grocery. Leave one bag. Pick up another. Leave. You have to look like an ordinary delivery guy. And playing that role comes much easier than you expected. Something is growing inside you. Loyalty, fear, or maybe they're the same thing, and you can no longer tell them apart. At night, you sometimes think about that bill. The numbers are getting smaller. You tell yourself, this is a good thing. Level 3, Veterano. Years have passed. You stopped counting how many winters because counting doesn't take you anywhere. It only weighs you down. Now you look at the newcomers. And there's a bitter recognition in that gaze. You see that hungry, fearless kid who doesn't yet know what he's losing. And that kid is you. You from 2 years ago. You from 5 years ago. You train them. You teach them the codes of loyalty. Betrayal is unforgivable. Blood is a vow. When you turn your back to your brother, he becomes either your armor or your end. And you have no luxury of choosing between the two. Omerta applies here too, just spoken in Spanish. A different language, but the same weight. Half the neighborhood knows you, the other half fears you. Both are fine. Being known protects you, fear protects you more. One night, a small child, 12, maybe 13, looks at you with those eyes that newcomers have, and for the first time, you want to pause. You want to say something. You want to turn him away, but you don't, because you weren't turned away either. And here you are, still standing, and in this organization, still standing is considered an achievement in itself. Level 4 shot caller. You run a territory now. The men around the table are waiting for your decision. There's silence before you speak. Movement begins after you speak. You decide which corner belongs to whom. This isn't just a matter of geography. It's a matter of power, of who owes what to whom. You decide which supplier to work with. You define who is a problem, and you know very well by now what the word problem means in this world. You opened a restaurant on a street corner. Every day at lunch, middle-aged workers eat there, waiters smile, good smells come from the kitchen. It doesn't need to turn a profit. Whether it does or doesn't makes no difference. The money just needs to flow. Cash comes in, cash goes out, a clean income statement goes to the tax office, the accountant keeps everything tidy and doesn't ask questions. You call it business now, not operations business. But at night your gun is still under the pillow, because titles can change, danger doesn't. One evening, sitting in the restaurant, a family is eating at the table by the window. Father, mother, 2 kids. One of the kids has a hole in their shoe. You look away and ask for the check. Level 5, Levero, key carrier. Most people never reach this rank because most people by this point are either dead or inside or lost in that gray zone between the two. You're still out. And whether that's luck, skill, or the ability to sacrifice others quickly enough, you've stopped asking. You coordinate between territories. You manage the corridor that runs from Los Angeles to Tijuana. This corridor isn't just a route. People pass through it, drugs pass through it, weapons pass through it, money passes through it, and at every crossing, a little blood stays on the side of the road. If a table needs to be set with rival gangs, you're the one sitting at it. You're drinking coffee at a diner with an MS-13 representative, both of you polite, both of you knowing what lies beneath the table. Agreements are made, borders drawn, hands shaken. But at this altitude the air is thin, and every time a man swears loyalty to you, a voice inside is calculating who will turn first. Because at this level, pure trust isn't a luxury, it's a weakness. Level 6 Regitor, Regional Director. You're no longer visible on the streets. You shouldn't be. Visibility at this point puts a target on your back. You have offices, glass-fronted, air-conditioned, with waiting rooms, the kind where the receptionist says good morning. You have lawyers, some who know what kind of work this is and charge accordingly. Some who don't but collect their salaries and have learned not to ask questions. You have accountants, construction companies, and a small logistics firm on paper. Everything is within the law, every signature in place, every receipt on file. You manage operations across multiple cities. Contacts in San Salvador know you by one name. A partner in Guadalajara knows you by another. You're building the organization's political arm. You're financing a local city council member, an election campaign donation, through legal channels, with clean paperwork. You steer a construction tender. Land is bought. Land is sold. Crime is no longer just on the streets. It's in conference rooms with suited men, in smiles exchanged over teacups, in handshakes. And the strangest thing is this. The people in that room are also afraid just of different things. Level 7 Primera Palabra. First word. You are the voice of the organization now. Primera Palabra. The first word is yours, and so is the last word, most of the time. Major decisions, major punishments, major alliances, they all pass through you, they all accumulate in you, and some mornings that weight feels like something physical on your shoulders. A border dispute with MS-13? You resolve it, or war begins. The choice is yours, and the men on the street will pay the price of that choice, but the decision is yours. Did a man betray the organization? Leak information to the police? No one asks how the decision was made. They only wait for the outcome, and the outcome always comes. At this point, you no longer have a name, you're addressed by a code name, your face is blurred in photos, only 3 people know where you live, and you know that at least one of those 3 is watching you. Power looks like this. Invisibility. But invisibility is as much a prison as a protection a man no one can see. Always risks becoming someone no one will remember. Level 8. El Diablo. The one who remains in the shadows. If you've made it here, you already know. There is no going back from this level, and there is no place left to go back to. El Diablo isn't a nickname, it's a curse, and you didn't choose it. One day you realized everyone was calling you that, quietly, behind your back. You had an empire built over decades. Cities, corridors, names, accounts, all spreading outward from you like a spider's web. But every stone of this empire was laid on top of a human being. Some of those people are in the ground now, beneath cold earth, in places even their families don't know. Some are in prison, in small cells, imagining the outside. Some still love you, some dream of killing you, and telling the two apart grows harder by the day. When you sleep at night, if you can truly sleep, if that half-waking, half-nightmare state counts as sleep, you see that narrow street. The broken streetlights, the weeds pushing through the sidewalk, the yellowed bill on the refrigerator, your siblings' wet socks. And you see that child yourself before any of this, and you can't help but ask, was there another way? You know the answer. But when morning comes, when the phone rings, when someone knocks at the door, you set that question aside. Because the answer to that question is more powerful than the only thing keeping you standing, and you can't afford to face it. If you like this video, leave a comment for the next one. Which gang should we cover?